This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Welcome to the regular meeting of the North Haven Middle School Building Committee on Monday, January 22nd at 8:15. Actually, it's during 8:20. First item is the approval of minutes from January 8th.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks. We just have a few items that are for discussion. We can discuss whether or not we need to take action on these during the discussion, but just want to go down the list. One of the things that is being looked at is in the auditorium, the egress lighting when there's a performance or the room is dark. Currently, there's investigation going on with looking at strip lighting in the floors rather than using the overhead lighting as part of the system to do that. Do we have any updates on that?
Yeah, I just got to get back together with the facilities director in East Hampton. We're going to do a site visit at the East Hampton High School. They put that in their auditorium, just so that your fire marshal can see it firsthand, with the room darkened and see how it performs. So I have reached out to him. I just got to get back to him with some dates, but we're going to coordinate a site visit for that to see if your fire marshal's on board
Sort
with
of
it.
estimate on order of magnitude of cost to do something like that?
I'm ballparking around the 15,000 mark for years, plus or minus. It's not an overly complex installation. It's just grabbing power from your control room and then just run it down the aisles. So I expect it to.
So there's just LED lights?
Yeah, they're
low
just strip
power.
lighting. They go on either side of the aisle. They integrate with the carpeting that's in the aisle. It's made to integrate with that. Durable to walk on, and it's like those ones are amber colored, so you see them, but they don't overpower during an event. They're lower. The one thing I don't know is I can't remember if in that other auditorium if they had the down lighting in the seats. I can't remember if we did or not because that might impact the evaluation. So.
And there's no dimmer, this is just one,
They're constantly on.
okay,
They're
and it's just
constant-
one level of light, it's not adjustable?
Yeah, it's almost like being in an airplane. It's very, very similar. You see two very narrow strips of light, but it's very defined. It will get you to the exit in the event if it's, there's an emergency for it. So, but they're discreet where it won't disrupt the production.
This is an omission, Chuck?
No. This is, the intent was to provide, to have this certain level of lighting in the auditorium. And I think that this is more of an authority having jurisdiction. I think it's an opinion on the fire marshal, and they're saying it's not really achieving what they think is the intent of the codes. I don't look at it as error and omission. I think it's authority having jurisdiction, not being comfortable with the lighting levels that are there. They're going to program certain lights that are above each aisle to be, I think, 0.2 foot candles.
0.2 foot candles.
And we went out there and measured, and their meter wasn't working correctly.
So our local authorities want this installed because of their own comfort level. What was designed and what was built meets code,
Well, I said the meter wasn't working properly, Dave.
which means,
There's a light meter that they put out, and it basically reads the foot candles in a space. So if you could put on this table, say how many foot candles you have, it wasn't really working properly. We'd go out in the hallway, and I think it'd work, and we'd come back in an area that was clearly lit, and it wouldn't register, right, is what I recall in that visit. So they basically want an improvement to that. We were going to go and reprogram. One option is to go and reprogram these lights to increase the lighting. The other option is this LED lighting strip, and
can we get a meter that works right?
yeah, I have one in my office. We
I'm
can
not
bring
trying to
one
be
down.
difficult, I'm just trying to understand the process. Is this something above and beyond what's code and what was designed and what was built? Did we not have the proper equipment to test the candles?
Well, we'll
in
check that. I
area?
think first step is checking
Well,
the
if-
lighting levels. But even so, even if we do check those and they come out 0.2, if the fire marshal says, listen, in his opinion, he's still not satisfied with it.
Don't we
he might
want to check
request-
that before we
We
take a
had-
field trip to
We had
Old
checked,
Saybrook?
we had checked some of the candle, some of the lighting earlier, because we reprogrammed, I believe it was 6 lights
He was prior to occupancy.
prior to occupancy to stay on to meet that requirement. The
Code.
problem, code, the problem is,
So what was designed and what works and what's functioning is code.
correct.
Well, that's not what Chuck said.
But you gotta finish, you gotta let me finish. It will work to code, but the problem during a performance, when you need to turn the lights off totally, you are no longer at code. So in other words, they have a performance, they can't leave those 6 lights on.
Right, I understand that, so, you know what I'm saying, something doesn't make sense, so the design of it all was not sufficient? so that
Design,
we can
design
have-
is sufficient, it's not a design issue, let's take that off, design is fine. Let's take the EO discussion off the table. It's I think it's part code and it's part performance and part owner and user request, because then they want to turn these lights all the way off, they can't. They have to maintain these lights on as a form of egress. So as a suggestion of trying to balance out the two, we had seen it installed, I'm sure Joe's had it installed, and Lindsay's seen it too. These lighting strips are discrete, and they serve, I think, 2 functions. One is you can turn all your lights down during a performance and still have your proper life safety egress. Number one's proper life safety egress is if there's an event, these are very clear. This is where you go. It's clear as day. You're not relying on a light. Some of these they range from 15 to 25 feet above the floor. And it's not, if you look up the row, it's not the lighting's a bit inconsistent. Because you'll have some lighting here and here. And
But when we turn our lights down,
Yep.
our emergency egress lighting goes off.
No, it's supposed to stay on.
Right, but they
Ours-
want
but ours
it,
doesn't.
they want it turned off
No,
totally.
they stay on. They stay on. It's just a matter, I think, the end users want them all the way off.
It's programmatic.
A separate issue, it is the code, and I think the fire marshal has raised in certain areas, as you look up that row, it's inconsistent. You have light a little bit darker now, whether that little bit of darker meets the .2, that's kind of what's in question. Is that part meeting the code? Because you have to meet it all the way up. You can't meet, here and then 25 feet up.
Just sounds a lot like $15,000 for egress lighting and.
It's life safety. I
We're
look at
not
it as
sure,
life safety.
this is an owner-driven request.
Authority having jurisdiction, a little bit of both, I think it's a little bit of both. It depends how you want to interpret it. You can put it either way. I don't think it's a design error or construction error. I think it's a matter of end user request along with the fire marshal's combination.
I think the
of both.
fire marshal was at a concert or a play or whatever, and the lights all went off, and he automatically saw the need.
Yeah, so, I mean, they have the authority to go above, and there's the minimum code, and they have the authority to say, listen, we have to enhance it, and they have that authority. So it's a combination of the two, I think. And again, this is just an estimate, Dave, and ballpark, and we don't have any hard quotes or anything like that, just going off of my guesstimate.
Is this an item that might be on state contract?
We can get an electrician, we can certainly get an electrician to do that, off of a state contract. It'd just be basically time and materials type of, a thing. That would probably be an easier way to go. I think it's pretty simple work. It's not like a warranty issue. If there was something that was tied into a system hard, I'd maybe be concerned, but.
Well, we were talking about having Ed Moore
Yeah, you
give
can
us
just.
some prices out,
Yeah, you can
because
start
he's
it
right there,
direct.
he's done all the work.
Yeah, if they're in state contract, then you can just have them do it, so.
What do we need to do now?
We're just, there's no action required right now, we're just,
We want to make sure the fire marshal would be on board with the solution, looking at a similar space that's completely dark with the lights out and go, would this satisfy him from a code perspective?
Well, certainly a good idea then to bring him with you to the one that has the same.
That's the whole intent,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's the only reason we do it is so he can see it.
Okay.
next, in the same area, there were a few stage issues that were identified when Michelle had visited over to the facility a couple weeks ago, and she had put together a list, and last Thursday morning, we went over and inspected the conditions, and it came up with kind of an action plan on what kind of things we want to take care of. Some of them were safety issues with the, like there's some large bolts that are coming out from from the
Standpipe, the dry standpipe. Yeah, I
They
emailed
just
Lindy
need to
late,
be-
I think Friday.
addressed,
I haven't-
taken care of.
Yeah, it was
Get a
like late
chance to
last
take a
week.
look at it.
Yeah.
As a follow-up to that.
In
So-
addition to, you were talking about cutting that bolt down,
Mhm.
Gary, I think Gary was spot on when he said that that pipe should, on both sides, should be wrapped. Because even if you cut down the bolt, you could still whack yourself on that pipe on either side. So if we could get like some type of, I don't
I'm sure
know,
there's
not
something
insulating
we can put on
wrap
there.
or whatever, to wrap around the part that's.
Like a protective wrap.
Right,
for it.
right, because I mean,
Padded.
in the dark, someone goes into that, you're
Mhm.
gonna be knocked unconscious, so.
Yeah, I would just do the bottom portion where it's maybe
Yeah, I'm not talking about
up
over the
to like
ceiling.
6.5 feet and
Right.
then leave the rest
Right.
exposed.
Just where the connector is, really.
Right.
All right. We'll have to leave the connector exposed.
And I'm pretty sure those bolts by code are only supposed to pass through that nut by about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch
Oh.
tops.
Mm.
They're out there,
And they're
right?
like
Yeah.
that long.
Yeah. And one area is not too bad, but the other side of the stage, it's more standing out into the walkway.
It's a lot
So
lower.
both sides.
And it's
Mhm.
lower.
And it's a lot lower, yeah.
Yeah.
What about that flooring,
The-
flooring issues?
The flooring
Yep.
issues,
I emailed Lindsay on it, she'll read that, the patching of, in that storage room there, the two areas there, as well as grinding out by that threshold, coming in off the the
Fixing
corridor.
the threshold?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the threshold, I think so, is just the pieces of wood, they're up a little bit, just sanding those down, securing those into the substrate. 'cause
Did
they're
we put that
moving.
piece of wood that was completely out back into the floor?
No,
That
I-
will go back in.
I
We
put it
left-
to the side,
we put it
just so
aside for
that
now.
it wouldn't come back out again when someone was walking on it.
Okay.
We just mechanically secured.
I didn't know
it,
which was
so-
worse, right? It popping up or someone going into it because it's not there?
Yeah. No, that, and then also, I think I mentioned the one railing to the right side of the stage, the handrail, because it's only into the, it's not all the way through the substrate, it's just within the stage flooring itself, so it can move just a little bit.
And as of Thursday, they had not come to fix that floor. Lindsay, did you hear back from
The
anyone
meeting
on
was
that?
Thursday, right? We
Yeah.
met on Thursday,
Yeah.
so I talked to him after the meeting on the phone, and he was gonna come after, like,
see.
Thursday afternoon, yeah.
So we don't,
he-
okay, so we don't know if that was done.
No.
And what about the
hadn't gone by.
peeling of the paint on that railing that's like the main railing, it's doing the same thing on that railing?
Okay, I'll take a look at it, get our painter.
it looks like it's the original finish that was on the other railings. And it wasn't addressed when they came in to correct it.
Okay.
It
Primer.
feels different, you know, it's got
Is the
that,
railings
it's
going
got the
onto the
latex feel
stage?
to it.
Yeah, the railing's going on to
Two
the
Yeah, go up to the
salvage
stage.
railings.
Similar condition to the main one.
Those were the big ones.
Mm.
So as long as we can get them addressed, especially now that they are utilizing, they're in full force utilizing this for the play. There are sometimes up to, 3 days a week they're practicing, and so there's a lot of activity right now. So I just think it's important for a safety perspective to make sure that we get some of these things addressed, because they would only get worse if they weren't dealt with.
Sure.
Mm.
That second threshold is gonna be done where the storage room is as well,
Yeah.
that missing piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, the inside that room,
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah,
two
there was a second
locations
one.
inside, there's one right where you go in, and then one
Mm.
interior
midway.
where a wall used to be.
Wall was
Yeah,
taken down.
masonry wall used to be, yeah.
All right, thanks.
okay. Additional roof drains. We've been talking about that for a while. Are we getting close to what we need?
I think we're just waiting on direction exactly where we're putting the drain and how we're doing the roof drain frame. Because of the logistics, the roof drain, it sounds like we want to add one roof drain in the auditorium above the stage. There's a lot of ductwork and piping up there, so what we suggested is possibly doing above the roof drain frame versus the typical, like we've done everywhere else on the projects, kind of cut open the roof and have the frame welded underneath the decking, so just waiting on that direction. We do have a cost from MJ Daly and from the roofer, so just waiting on the frame.
Is this something that can be done in the winter, or is this a spring project?
Probably at this point, I would say spring, just with the play and everything that's going on
Yeah.
up there, and it's gonna be a lot of, like, the lifts and everything on the stage.
Yeah, it's
so-
working around occupancy and usage of the stage.
Yeah.
So who's designing it?
Yeah.
DTC is?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
DTC's core. We've asked them about doing the frame. I haven't gotten an answer yet, but as soon as we do, we can issue that bulletin. Get pricing on it.
Okay, and the roof issues are also holding up the I won't say roof issues like that, but,
The punch list roof issues? Or the-
what, no, this,
It would be the drain and
the
the punch.
drain
And,
issues.
and the punch list for,
Okay.
yeah.
For Greenwood.
But that's delaying Green Skies from installing solar panels, so, you know, it's a bit of a domino.
What's the schedule for Green Skies
I
installation?
didn't let them put a schedule together until I know the roofs are all set.
Okay.
There's no sense in putting a schedule until we know we're done up there.
Do we know how much time their installation is gonna take?
No.
Okay. So, any idea when we're gonna get something from DTC so we can move forward?
I'll put that on the front burner.
Okay.
Sure, we can get that by the next meeting.
Be nice to get that roof wrapped up.
Yeah.
Just so, you know, just for general understanding, the roof drain is something that we feel will improve the roof conditions. It is not dependent, the roof condition is not dependent on this roof drain. The roofing contractor is confident with the way it is now, and will move forward with the way it is now, but we just don't want to, we want to minimize any ponding that's on that roof as much as possible,
But,
so.
but with that said, Garrett, the warranty reads specific square footage of ponding is acceptable, and this exceeds that square footage. So whether they're saying now that it's okay and later when something screws up because of it, they back the warranty is a problem.
We don't want any,
Yeah, so
any
we don't
wiggle
want
room
any
there.
issues going forward.
Yeah. Okay, during our discussions last Wednesday, one of the things that came up was maintenance and being able to change out ceiling tiles and do washing windows and other things.
You know, everything, not only washing windows, but changing filters in units that
Filters.
that you just can't get to in the building because it's so high. And I remember we had a lift in the FF&E package, which, if I remember correctly, I wasn't too happy that we cut. And it just goes to show when I'm starting to get maintenance costs and so forth to do this building, that our guys can't do interior filters like we do in all the other schools because of the heights of these ceilings. So with that, we, you know, of course, getting quotes on doing all the HVAC maintenance becoming very expensive because we now have to include the maintenance and the filter change out with a contractor as opposed to our guys. So a lift, we should have left the lift in, and it's gonna be a vital part of that building for many years to come, especially with the heights of those windows and ceilings and anything else that we have to maintain that's over 12 feet, which is a considerable part of the building.
Auditorium lights.
Auditorium lights, all
that-
kinds of things.
They're no longer movable, they're manual.
Yeah.
So all those, there used to be a catwalk up there, and now there's no way for anyone to manually adjust them because there's no way to get to them. So the ceiling in the auditorium is another issue.
Do the other schools have one? Does the high school have one?
It has a very small, it's only, it reaches up to about 22 feet, and it's a single man, so you can't work with anyone else when you're up in the air. You wouldn't be able to use for filters, it wouldn't reach in our middle school gym, it wouldn't reach all the filters and lighting there, and it doesn't reach them actually in the high school either. It's, comes up a little short, kind of shaky also. So anyway, we're looking at a used one and new ones. To me, they're way too expensive, and there's a few companies, rental companies, that sell these things and maintain them. So we're looking at between $7,000 and $10,000, I think, for a used one, somewhere around there. I actually have one of my guys out at Herc this morning looking at a couple of his used ones that are out there now.
Because you had sent out a quote for a new one, which
Yeah,
was
which-
25,000.
Yeah, we don't need a new one. We can get away with a used one.
So as we get more information on that, we'll bring it to the committee for final approval, or not, depending on what the feeling is at the day. Athletic field netting.
Yeah, so we got approval for up to the 18,000. We do have, actually surprisingly, have some vendors on state contract, so I'm gonna get a quote from them. It's actually for, they're for nets on state contract. It says nets, I'm assuming ball stopper nets will fall under there. And it's actually for the manufacturer that we got specified, so we're kind of lucking out. So there's 4 different vendors. I'm gonna reach out to them, get quotes, and we'll get a PO cut. You guys already approved it last meeting for the 18, let's see. You approved that, yeah, not to exceed a 20. That's what I have for notes. So I'll get a quote and a forward on, we can.
Yeah, and the sign has, a PO has been issued for the sign, so they can move forward whenever.
Yep, they're already scheduling and reached out to the supplier for the block. And they're getting the same block from that supplier, and
Good.
they should be starting within a couple of weeks, actually.
Oh, they're not gonna wait till the spring?
No, it's really not necessary. They're gonna go as soon as possible. I was thinking maybe we'd take this sign that's existing and put it on the other side where the entry is for the kids, where the kids are walking in. You have that big,
Bus drop-off area?
yeah, that big bus
In the
drop-off
center?
area in the center
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
Yeah.
area there. It's a nice sign.
Yeah, it's a nice sign. It's nice in the building. Donor.
So I'm gonna make them take it out very carefully, and we'll put it on the other side of the building.
Good, yeah, that's a good idea. Right next to Bob's statue.
Yeah, thank you. Has that been ordered?
Is that good with you, Phil? I forgot you were even
So that'll be on
Oh,
the
yeah,
agenda
we
next
talked about
week.
that. I like that idea. I appreciate that.
Along with the shower and the bathroom that's in Phil's office.
Right, is that coming up? Is that
Yeah,
next?
we're bringing that back.
I'm waiting for it still.
All right. A couple, here, service heater for water service room. We talked about that at the last meeting. Where are we at with that? I don't know if that's
I don't know
on
if that's a
schedule or what we're
viable
doing with
option.
that.
I guess BVH, our commissioning agent, was on site last Monday, noticed that in the band room, we have a small closet, it's a water service closet, and that feeds the fields and everything for water. They noticed that there's no heat in that room, there's no ductwork serving that room, just because of the ductwork design inside the band room. So they brought it up to DTC, and DTC recommended we do a wall unit heater, kind of a recessed wall unit heater, so I haven't chased anything with that.
What's
I'm
the
not sure.
danger? Is it might freeze?
That, I guess that's their concern, it's extremely cold in there too, so.
I don't know if you need a recessed wall heater. I mean, you can get the 4 or 5 foot strip heaters that mount right to the wall.
Yeah, that's probably an easier option.
Yeah, I
Versus
think it would be a much
recessing a unit.
easier and inexpensive option.
Okay.
So I know we talked about it Thursday at our OAC, whether this was something you wanted us to chase down and what the final design of it was, or if this was something that
Are we
Phil
gonna-
and his crew wanted to.
We're gonna pay for it,
Okay.
basically.
sorry?
I mean, the building committee gonna pay for it, or would, I mean, I have my
Oh, yeah.
electrician who could probably do it. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
I
Pay for it.
I mean, the guy, electrician
Part of
that
the
works for
project.
me, it's pretty inexpensive to do that. I don't see where it's gonna be a lot of
We're
money.
gonna have a thermostat on and everything.
Yeah, I haven't put a thermostat and everything on it.
You mean just want like baseboard?
Yeah, a baseboard heat thermostat.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Luke?
Sounds good.
He's the building inspector, so we have to.
Careful. You just gotta maintain, just gotta get
I
the
have my
chill out,
turn.
right?
What's
You
that?
gotta maintain 55,
Yeah,
60 degrees.
55 degrees, 50 degrees, be fine.
Just get an update on the sprinkler and the main entrance vestibule, what we're doing with that. Is that an open question right now?
It is an open question. I think what last we left it on Thursday was, I know Colliers was thinking we could thermal image that area just to see if there's any gaps in the envelope.
And try and get my guy there, he's just tied up right now, the guy that does it, so.
I think we may have one in-house. I'm gonna talk with our office today to see if that's something we can do. just to see if there's any gaps in the envelope, any insulation we need to add. And then it was a question of what we want to do with the ceilings, if we want to add a grill to bring heat up into the ceiling space, because that is our only hard lid ceiling in a vestibule area with it.
I would definitely
Ceiling
suggest
non-cabinet unit heater,
a
so.
grill in there, because, you know, the heat really doesn't come down much further than 4 feet before it goes right back up to that ceiling. Having a grill up there would just give it that cavity more,
Yeah, but
more
the
heat.
moment, I mean, 5/8 inch gypsum, you're gonna, if there's heat on one side, there's gonna be heat on the other side. A grill's
Yeah,
not
but
really
that-
gonna do anything.
Yeah, but I think we'd be crazy not to add a grill to it if we're already have holes in in the ceiling. We might as well turn them into grills and just let the heat rise above the ceiling cavity, and it's a waste to have the heat in there.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, it's not really gonna do anything more than the gyp ceiling. The
I-
biggest concern is why it's 15 degrees colder
We can agree to
above the
disagree.
ceiling.
But I think we're gonna get more heat out of those vents than we are out of the sheet rock.
Yeah, I think there's an insulation issue somewhere,
Yeah.
just having, been up there and feeling the cold.
Oh, there's
air,
definitely an
something's
insulation
going
issue,
through it.
there's no question.
Right.
And in a normal situation, you wouldn't have to worry about the plenum above the ceiling being too cold.
Mm-hmm.
This is a situation where we got 15 degrees colder above the ceiling than below.
That's a fancy ringtone.
Is that King? Is that the ringtone for the king?
Okay, so we need to,
So somebody
That's
does
one more
thermal
thing.
imaging.
I'm sorry?
So someone's gonna do thermal imaging and then we'll.
Yeah, I'll check with our
take it from
office to
there.
see. I'm pretty sure we may have one. I just gotta double check where it's at. If it's in the state or if it's a New England one, if we have to chase it down, so.
Would one of our heating contractors have that?
Thermal,
The one we contract with?
EVH might,
not
Well,
sure,
Maybe it's on.
I'd be surprised if
I
they
think they would, but
possibly.
want to get that as much wrapped up as possible, as soon as possible, because
Yes.
it's time
Well,
to
yeah.
end this project.
And where are we with the rear entrance valves in this,
The
in
one
the
where
unit?
the coils got blown.
I was not able to get a hold of MG Daily Friday, so I'll follow up
Because
with them.
they haven't showed up since they said they were coming, and they had the parts. And
Gary, were there any expenses that we've incurred after the flood and the?
Well, you fill with.
Well, we've received the billing last week for it. We checked the cameras. We don't believe that we've seen anybody actually damage that sprinkler head, so we just don't know why it happened. So I don't know at this point, who do we look to? I mean, we had to have Surf Pro come in, clean up, vacuum, deodorize, wash the floors. I just don't know what point, who do we look at for that?
Well, does Gilbane have an opinion as to any subs that might be culpable?
We thought it was possibly the painter,
Yeah.
so we gave Phil the timeline where he was in there, and he saw you saw the ladder in the video,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
wasn't high enough, he
No.
couldn't have hit it. So
Couldn't have hit it.
there's an actual video of the actual vestibule, and no
Right.
one hit it, so.
And then we had an actual video of when it started to drip. You know, when they had a bucket under it, started to drip, and it started to run, then it just blew, and water came pouring out. I mean, this is all on film. And no one was near it when it was happening.
So was it a bad install?
You know, the head looked bent to me.
That's why we were thinking someone hit it.
But they would've
the
had
only
to hit it.
person that was in that vestibule for months was our painter, and
Yeah.
that was.
And they would have had to hit
a
it
month or
really
so
hard.
ago.
Is that the only head in there?
No, it's two.
Two.
Because if it froze, likelihood both would, at
Go.
the same time, I would think, but.
Yeah, I don't know what you want to call it. I mean, when they showed us the head was bent. And it would take an awful lot more than I think hitting it with a ladder than to bend it.
Right. And that's also been active since, was it March, April, that line?
What's, I'm sorry?
I said that sprinkler line right there, that main vestibule, it's
Mhm.
been active since March or so.
Yeah,
So you would have thought if it was something with the install, it would have happened sooner. I don't know.
I guess, I don't know. I just don't know what to call it. I know I got the bill.
What is?
How much was it?
How much?
I truthfully did not review it yet.
No.
I saw it come in and put it to the side for now, till we tried to figure out what the heck's going on with it.
It looks good. I mean, Thursday when we were there, you wouldn't
didn't
tell.
smell
You couldn't tell
anything.
anything.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no,
You didn't
no, the
smell
roads.
And the next day,
No,
it happened, what, Friday?
yeah, it happened on Friday, and,
And by Monday, it was like it never even happened.
yeah, they came in late, and then they came late Monday afternoon and shampooed and steamed all the carpets, and the carpets look fine, they're not lifting, curling.
The only thing that's left is the floorboard.
Yeah, they got a baseboard.
And the hole in the ceiling, that's not gonna be fixed by next week,
Well, that's good,
unfortunately.
yeah.
We're gonna keep people's attention.
Yeah, I don't know what, we're gonna direct their
So they
eyes
don't look
towards
up.
cupcakes, I don't know. There has to be an eye on the prize, just don't let
Juggler,
us-
aren't you gonna juggle?
I've already been juggling.
All right, I have one item. It is the carpet removal and paint. We didn't, did you find anything? I didn't find anything.
I had your signature like I thought it was December, I sent it to you Friday, after you sent that email. I
So-
have a signature from you, I think it was on
It
emergency.
was probably emergency.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's informal.
Okay, so we have to formally approve ATP 248 to add it onto the agenda for the auditorium carpet removal and epoxy flooring paint.
It's for the risers?
Yeah,
Right.
they've already removed the carpet from that area, and that's what Lindsay was talking about earlier with them going forward with the painting, probably soon, I don't know when. but-
They should have done it last Thursday
Okay.
afternoon.
So I'd ask to bring this onto the agenda, ATP 248, auditorium carpet removal for the amount of $3,379.
I make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now, a call question to approve ATP 248 in the amount of $3,379.
I make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, that's official now. Anything else that we need to talk about that hasn't been decided yet?
How about, I have the quote still
okay.
from, actually, I found an additional one, there's some,
Okay.
I'll bring up. So, a couple months ago, Phil met with G. Donovan Associates on some shelving. There's the 4 prep rooms, the science prep rooms, we talked about doing shelving, they got tabled back in November. I think we discussed this, and we put a hold on it. So there's the 4 prep rooms, they're about 40 feet long, the room, so it's a shelf on each side, so
It's the length of the classroom.
yeah, it's pretty long total. So for all 4 prep rooms, that quote, and this is an estimate, and it would be based on the time and materials on a state contract, is $11,664. Again, it'd be actual time to do
And
that.
that's just the 4 rooms, that doesn't include, 'cause I remember initially he looked at PE too, and that.
The PE, I do have a separate one for PE here.
I
Yep.
think has that been done? I thought that was part of the original.
No, nothing's been approved yet, so that's why I'm bringing it up, because we've been talking about it, and it's really not moving anywhere. But that, Gary, there's copies of those if anyone wants to see those. The athletics storage shelving, just basic 2x4 frame and plywood, just basic shelving for you, was $5,229 for athletic storage.
And that wasn't supposed to be part of the
That was
original,
separate proposal.
but that wasn't part of the original building plan? But
No,
that-
I
that
think it was
came
just
up
an
at
empty
some point.
room. I don't recall having storage shelving in your
No.
PE. Is that right? I'm guessing right off the gym.
Yeah, no, I know that we discussed it.
Yeah, it's that room right across the,
I had thought that there was some existing shelving that we were gonna keep in there, is my memory.
it's the one next to the fitness room. I don't think there's any
Oh,
shelving
the
in
one
there.
next to the fitness room.
I think that's the
Okay.
room we're talking
Two
about.
separate ones.
Okay.
So the athletic storage shelving is wood shelves, and the ones in the science prep rooms are metal?
No, they'd be wood as well, 3/4 inch plywood, shelving in the prep rooms.
So it's all wood.
Yep.
You can't get like some local, woodworking class from like, say, Eli Whitney or something as a project
Right over the high
to,
school, they got shop.
to make shelves? I mean, I know wood's expensive, but that's like a lot. Huh? You're saying it's 2x4s, right?
Well, in the athletic storage, that's a simple, it sounds like it's a standalone in there. In the prep rooms, just gotta make sure they're secured into studs because there's base cabinets below. So, you know, as long as there's proper
You may have to go into
supervision.
the wall and put in the blocking and stuff like
I mean, I want to give them shelving, but it seems like, how much athletic storage shelving, like how big of a space are we talking? How many feet of shelving is in there?
That's the thing, rooms are big, that's a,
Yeah,
Pretty
it's probably
decent.
about half the size of this room.
Half the size of this room?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's like floor to ceiling shelving, right?
Yeah,
not
there's
like
probably every
one-
couple of feet, there's probably shelves, I'm only guessing.
I don't think there's
probably a
anything in there now, so it's just they have the,
Just the
everything on the floor.
Yeah, so I mean, how easy is that to find things?
Why wouldn't we use the metal wire racks that are actually even on wheels so you can move them around and stuff in there? Why are we gonna
Is
do
that more
stationary shelving on those walls?
Do that too, just all kinds of options.
In the
You're talking
athletic,
about
you're
for
talking
the-
about
In the
athletic.
athletic, yeah. I would use, they're, $300-400 a unit.
Well, let's concentrate now on just the classroom shelving. I mean, we have this quote of 11,664. They absolutely need the storage. That's not the issue. I mean, I think we've all seen the conditions. Is this is state contract pricing? We're probably not, if we're gonna go by a contractor, it's probably gonna be similar to this one way or another. If we go another route, then it just complicates things, and I don't know, Bob, I saw you shaking your head about possibly having the school do it, but the students do it, but I don't know if that's
If you
a,
gotta go into studs and all that stuff, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that beyond their?
I think
Better
it
not
is
be.
beyond- I think it is beyond their capacity.
Yeah.
okay. So I
That's
will
worth a try.
ask for a motion to approve G. Donovan Associates for this shelving as shown on the schedule in the amount of 11,664. That's to add on to the agenda. If there's a motion. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
There's no motion.
All right, so this is a dead issue at this
Yep.
point. All right. I'm assuming there's the other one that was in the second floor sped room. There's a storage room off of that. As you go up the stairs to the right where I think the interim office might have been. There's a storage room off of that. That faculty members requested some base cabinets and some countertops in there just to get stuff stored now.
It's the one classroom that doesn't have it.
Yeah,
All the
it's
classrooms
just a
have
blank
it.
classroom, is all it is. She has no work.
We need to back up.
Okay.
I think we all agree that there's a need for shelving. I think that was a little bit like dead issue. Hold on. Are there other options besides the?
Nobody made the motion, so.
Well, is there other options? I mean, is it gonna be more expensive to get it's gonna be more expensive than to get those wire shelves in there?
Okay, so for the prep rooms, you can't do wire shelving because it's above base cabinet. So you're gonna have a cabinet here and it's on a wall, so it's really a shelf that's gotta be installed onto the wall. They're gonna do a ledger, it's gonna be well installed, well anchored.
Wall supports.
And certainly from a student perspective, if it starts loosening up, it's gonna be a Phil's issue, to fix it.
Is there any other options that you see that we could utilize?
And that, it'd be more
Not- not
expensive.
application.
I mean, and that,
Is
otherwise.
this because this is wood as opposed to like, I don't know,
But do you-
particle board? Like, I'm talking above
I
my
mean,
head
you
here,
can maybe
folks,
do
but.
this, you can do the simple wire racks that you put in your closet where for hanging clothes, but, they're about 12 inches deep as well. That might be another,
We saw
possibility.
that, we saw the rooms, we saw the science storage rooms. They definitely need shelving. I think we just kind of were balking at the cost, right?
We don't think our woodworking classes could do that? And so with some supervision as to where to secure this
No.
shelf?
I don't know that you want them to do studs, maybe athletic, yes. Athletic, it sounds like if you just need shelves, they could do it.
We could certainly talk with Mark Fig and
That's the
Chris
instructor one.
Johnson, yeah, and see if it's something that they could do. I'd be happy to do that.
And I'm
Maybe
not
they
familiar
could-
with the woodworking,
What
but
they
I know
have
the
to do, they
state
install,
group,
but they
the
just-
state
Right,
group
maybe they
builds
could
things all
make
the
the
time.
shelves and we could get someone to install them to make sure they're properly on studs or whatever, just, can't they build them?
It's
Well, I
a
think-
steel studded wall, you're not gonna be using the studs, that's why when you mount these to the wall, they have to be mounted with the right hardware.
The only
to make
other
sure
option is
they
if you were
don't
to, extend it off of your your.
Supported from the bench.
From the bench, from your countertop, and just, you know, intermediate supports, you know, you want
I don't like that
clear.
idea at all.
They have those metal strips and you clip those things.
The
That's
standards.
not
They're
good enough.
standards.
Is that strong? I mean, they could be 16 inches deep or 24 inches deep. Is that?
Well, they have equipment that they put up there. That's,
I don't want to overcomplicate it, it just seems
I
like
don't think we
11,000 is a
dismiss
lot
the
of money.
need for
but-
shelves. I just think we're kind of, the sticker shock was a little bit much for 2x4 shelves. Maybe that was why nobody wanted to approve them.
Well, I don't think they're 2x4 shelves. I think it's the type of wood that they're using to match everything else that's in the units.
This is 3/4 inch AC plywood shelving, there's a ledger, so they'll there'll be a strip ledger all the way across the wall, so the backside, and then they're gonna have brackets that come off that, you know, support that cantilever, so it's nice and clear from the wall. You still gotta be careful how much weight you put on there, you can't just load these things up with
Yeah.
a ton of weight, but these, you know.
The brackets will probably sit on ledgers also.
All right, so, I mean, do we all agree that there is a need for the shelving? Are we disputing the need for the shelving? Are we just trying to find a more reasonably priced option? I mean, I'm in favor of having the shelving in the room. We saw these spaces.
well, they absolutely need the shelves.
Yeah.
There's, in my mind, that is not an option. The only option is how we do it. And if this is too expensive for us to do, we've got to find other alternatives. But it's not an option to do nothing.
Right.
Well, that's my point. So, I mean, but are there, I guess, again, to the point, are there other options for us to explore, or something to say, no, this is really the only way that you can go? I mean, is somebody prepared to say there really aren't any other options? You either do this or you do the wire shelving, and we've already seen how.
If you want me, I could,
wire
Michelle, I could
shelving was
price up,
expensive.
you know, the wire shelving, do a linear footage, and then estimate some, you know, what I think would, you know, and we can do it.
Do you think it would
Give
be,
you a
in your own
comparison.
opinion, do you think it would be very expensive? Because we saw how expensive.
I'd have to check the wire, that shelving, what is per linear, you know, foot, you know, then you start adding on the brackets, all the little pieces of hardware, and then you go, okay, what's gonna take, you know, for, you know, it's gonna be two carpenters to put this up, to put it up properly in the hardware.
Let's
you
at
know.
least compare it so that we
Yeah, I'll give you a
know.
ballpark, at least, you know,
Right,
where,
at least we know.
is it close, because if you're within a couple thousand, you're going, what are we talking about? Or if it's 6,000, you're going,
Right,
wait a minute.
then you
let's go
know then
everywhere
this is
else.
the option that we need to go.
investigate.
I mean, it's easy to price that up on a linear foot basis and go,
Lou,
here's the
Lou,
parts and
you've seen
pieces
this,
we'll
right?
take off.
Correct.
Does this look outrageous as far as the unit cost basis goes from the private construction world?
Oh, you can't even compare the two, I mean.
Yeah, I know, that's what. but-
Different rates, different labor
Yeah,
rates,
it's
for sure.
Yeah, but you're gonna have blocking behind it, and you want these shelves to be able to last the 50 years that the building is hopefully gonna last.
Yeah, I
So-
agree, I mean, the wall should be opened up,
Yeah.
put some plywood blocking in there.
So,
But that's not what we're doing here.
I think this is just a ledger across.
This is just a ledger
Continuous
across. They're not
ledgers, they're
opening
gonna
it up.
put
Into metal stuff.
into metal studs, yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
I think they're gonna have, they're probably not gonna secure it to the metal studs. They're gonna have to use some type of lag or those, what do they call them?
molly bolts.
The molly bolts.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna secure that into metal.
I wouldn't recommend doing it with molly bolts, there's no telling what somebody's gonna put up there. You know,
No,
about this expensive
they've got a
construction.
lot of new product out there that hold 200-300 pounds apiece.
I know that that's what they say, but I've
Well,
also seen them pull out of the wall.
I mean, you know, if you're gonna put up a lot of weight there, so you're to the wall and put intermediate supports that come down to your countertop, I mean, you know, how often are you gonna be using those countertops where you need it fully clear all the way across for the added support? You're securing that weight down to your base cabinet. It's probably every 6 feet, I'm guessing. So it's not the perfect install, but for a post install, otherwise, like I said, if you have to open up the wall and put up blocking, that's just gonna raise your cost even further. I'd put a couple supports intermediate, then you're not worried about the weight. It's gonna hold it easily. May not be prettiest, but it's in the prep room.
I don't know where we're at on this thing.
So
We'll look at a
Chuck is
couple-
gonna get
So
We'll look at a
Chuck's
couple
gonna get
different
prices
just to
on
confirm
the,
what we're seeing.
right, the metal, and we'll compare them.
How many rooms are we talking about?
For the prep rooms. Let's do do a price per room and see what it,
But maybe the
So
athletic,
you're
you
like-
just said we need
you're
like
paying
shelves,
$3,000 a
nothing.
room.
it's really in the function, if you wanna do the mobile like Phil's saying, or if it's stationary, I would do.
Well, that'd be
two,
for the athletic.
Yeah, the athletic one, it depends if you wanna be mobile like Phil's saying, or. if
So we
you
could
say-
talk to the athletic, we could talk to the PE people next time. we
It'd
come.
be easier to clean the room, keep the room clean, neat, if they were on wheels. I
Maybe they
mean,
can get horizontal shelves, you could leave them.
Yeah, heavy duty metal, there's all kinds of options we can do, so.
All right.
All right, move on.
I think, is there anything else?
This is just the cabinets for sped, those are hard quotes we've distributed before, but I figured for copies anyways.
What's this for?
That's in that one sped classroom up on the second floor.
Oh, the
so there's
classroom
another
has
one.
nothing.
There's another one.
It's got its own storage room off of it, and it has
How
nothing
much
for
is that?
storage.
Another 11 grand.
11,000 and change. That's
No,
base
I
cabinets
just,
and a
I don't understand why
countertop.
that room was, I mean, every classroom has cabinets, and this
Yeah.
one room didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah,
the size
so
of it was
We
the problem, right?
gave them a closet at that point, and you're correct, we didn't put the stuff that they needed for storage in the closet, but
But-
the room itself was
The room's
small
small.
enough that we knew that we had to provide extra storage.
But we owe it to them to provide some means of storage in there.
This is the room at the house.
Yeah, so it has a, it's the one that the nurse was temporarily in,
Oh,
that we started
okay.
with.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
Eileen's room, right? Is
It's,
that-
it's a special education
Yeah.
classroom.
Yeah,
Um,
it's weird in there.
Yeah, so it's really configured, yeah, it has a bigger storage closet, but then it's just a room, it's an empty room, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's like goes around
There's no
the
storage in
back.
that
There's
closet.
nothing in there.
And she has it blocked, if I'm thinking of the right one, she almost has it even like blocked off, like she's
Yeah.
not even using that. She put furniture in front of it just
Yeah.
because she has nothing
Like a
to.
bookshelf or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we.
So is this for the cabinetry, like the other classrooms? Is that what this is?
This is gonna be basically enclosed base cabinets, Phil. A couple of base cabinets and a countertop on the left-hand side. She said she wanted the right side clear. I remember talking to her about
Is
it.
this inside the?
Inside that closet,
Yeah.
over to the left of that, yeah. I think because the way the doors were, it worked out well for her.
Where does she have a closet in there? There's an actual clear in there?
You go around, you actually go in, you have to kind of do it.
Oh, you
turn
go
around
back
and
into that
You have to
area?
go back into
Oh,
the
okay.
area. It's up against the clear story, I think, down to the middle, right?
So
Okay.
would we have to, what do we gotta do with this one?
Well, it's information, so it's something we need to do as well. So we have a total on that, if we wanted, everything is 25,000, 26, 7,000, right? So those three.
Phil, can we maybe for the next meeting, get a picture of that, we can bring it so we can physically
Sure.
maybe see that, it might help visually.
Sure.
I mean, I think
You might have some,
Yeah, I can't find it
sure.
now. I can't find it now.
There-
Just go
Yeah,
find it.
if they're listening, we have it. Okay.
they're all
This must be in
important, but
here
I think
someplace.
That
the,
one's probably the most,
the alternate ed room,
I don't think I
that's
have it.
what it's called, right?
yeah.
That's what's called alternate ed?
Nope, it's a special education
It's special.
classroom.
I think that we owe the instructor there, the teacher, this.
The same
because
finishes as the other
Yeah,
Because the other
classrooms.
classrooms
Yeah.
have similar things. So I think that one, is priority number one. Number two is the, getting the science rooms, and I think they're close, in my mind. The priorities, they're close together on what needs to be done. So the PE, I'm just not sure about, so we'll have to investigate that a little bit more. But, okay. Nothing we can do today then, I guess. Chuck, what do you got?
That was it, I just wanted to bring that up. Financially, nothing's changed, we're still looking around 192,000. That incorporates the ball netting, that's already encumbered into that. But that's.
Is the shelving in there?
I don't think let me just check, I don't think I've encumbered shelving. I'll tell you in a second.
Or the lighting, is the lighting part of that too?
No, that was, give it to her.
No, neither one of those are in that number right now, so that
So
would come off of
if
that.
we approve everything today, we'd be down to about 150.
That's about, yeah, that's about right.
And the roof, what about the roof? Is the roof, additional roof drain encumbered?
I think I might, let me just pull up my contingency log here.
I still think there's some line items that might have some money to release at
Let's
this
see
point.
here.
Well, the biggest amount is the Bill Bain.
Roof drain I do have incorporated, I have about 12,000 for the roof draining. We had also some site lighting in the south. Lou, I think you brought up some site lighting on the southwest corner by the high school. I'm not sure if you've done any of that. I've incorporated some for that. The carpet removal, that's, I can put that's in there, I'll approve that. And encumbered some rail painting, but I'm not sure if we did that.
We're
soon
going
or
out
how
to
we did
bid
that.
in Berlin for traffic meters. So I'll let you know what those numbers
Let's
are.
see, pending. Privacy function on the bathrooms, it looks like that's, might not happen. Street sign, that was different. I'm just looking at some of the items here that were pending items out there. Card reader, all card readers, common switch. Yeah, so some of these have, some of these have not been incorporated. The lighting in the auditorium has not, and these shelving items are not incorporated.
And you said the roof drain is?
Yeah, we accounted for, I think, $12,000, yeah, $11,595 we have as pending for the roof drain.
Are there items that you've encumbered funds against the owner's contingency for that it appears the owner's not gonna do?
Yeah, that's a couple of these, Jeff, it looks like, and let's see. Restroom locks, I think is the privacy function to occupied, unoccupied with key entry. This is tabled back in October, we have $2,000, it's a pending. Not sure if that, I think that's near the auditorium potentially.
Yep.
Not sure if anything's occurred with that. The monument sign, I had 24,000 into there, I think it's a little bit less than that, so I'll revise that, so there's a little bit will come off of that. The Yearstone installation, I think that got approved by a different vendor, so that'll go under a different budget, but I've encumbered for that, 2,400. Rekey fire doors between areas A and B, I don't know if that's occurred at all, but.
We have not done that yet. We're gonna rekey those ourselves.
Okay, so that's 4,000 that I'll just reject, put by owner.
Yeah, we're gonna change those out ourselves.
And then.
Again, that's a fire marshal list.
Add card reader lockdown mechanism to disable all card readers from a common switch.
That was, should have been part of the original plan, so that
I have a
the,
pending item on it for 2,500, I'm not,
I don't know if they did it, if we ever did it. That should have been part of this.
I don't remember the item, to be honest.
I don't remember
I
discussing.
don't even know if we should discuss that right now.
No.
Actually, we shouldn't even discuss that
Nope.
right now.
Yep. Yeah, these are just ones I have just pending. The wireless, this is the wireless card reader, the vestibule, that entry going in from the field side.
We have that.
Well, they did that already.
There might be a, and this is off my heart, this might have been updated,
Yeah,
since.
that's done.
I'll just have to
From the
correct.
gym.
That's it, there's not really a whole lot of items pending
Okay.
at this moment, and,
So you can send me a copy of that and.
yeah, I'll bring the latest
To the
to
committee,
the upgrades,
so we
yeah.
can look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on the exterior?
Not a huge excess.
Around by that?
Exterior lighting down, back where the dumpsters are located, generator is located, is pitch black. We need wall packs, probably one on the back side and one on the front side.
Is it possible to add a double head on the existing high school lighting? That last pole that's there, that would help.
It's, yeah, I'm sure it's possible. Those heads were just recently changed out to all LEDs.
We're not gonna use that.
So I'm sure that we could probably pull some type of power off that, and
Or
don't
make
quote
that
me
one
on
just a
it.
double head, so that one's
Yeah, I
going towards.
just gotta make sure and see how many are on that circuit, because they're broken up into circuits, so I don't know, how many are on that circuit.
And if they change the LED, they look better.
Well, the good news is if you go LED, you're pulling less power,
Less
so
power, yeah.
I'll actually talk to Henry about that.
I'm not sure where that's at. Yeah. There's that. There's not really many others, this one actually.
Yeah, but we definitely need those, wall packs on that,
On the school.
on the school.
Anything else?
Without a doubt.
No.
Are we good?
Joe?
No.
Lindsay?
Nope, just closing out contractors as we go, keeping you guys in the loop, finance department in the loop, so.
So I see you're releasing some retainage. So those are, how many do we have left?
I'd say I've probably released 10 contractors out of 30, so we're about a third of the way through.
Mm. And MJ Daly's,
They're still definitely open, we're holding a lot of money on them, so they're not going anywhere.
Linda, MJ Daly was responsible for the sprinklers also, correct? That was
No,
under
that
their
was
contract?
K&M.
I'm sorry?
K&M, fire protection?
You got hold back on them?
No, I think we released them.
But you have a-
They've been
you have a
signed off
performance
for a
bond,
while.
Yeah, I mean, what's their warranty?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because, I mean, that just got completed in March, and it's not March yet, so we should have at least a year of material and labor.
Yeah.
So I think that should fall under their warranty, because, again, I don't know how that would have happened.
I don't know either.
all right, so just so we keep our feet to the fire, I'm gonna, I think we should meet in 2 weeks on February 5th. I know
Well, can I just bring up something to
Sure.
the members here, and we have some that aren't. If you can't come to this meeting, can you let Gary know, like, a couple days, because we could have a problem, because I was on a call this morning and it was kind of going like this, but I didn't give Gary notice, and I usually tell him that I can't come, but there's so few of us now that we need to make sure that Gary has advance notice that we're coming, or we can't
Yeah,
come, so we have a
that's true.
quorum. And we'll have to pass that on to our other members.
I actually gotta go.
I'm sorry? Yeah. All right, Michelle,
Yeah.
let's give us
We'll do
an
this.
update on party planning.
Party planning. Everybody hang your rosary beads outside, so the weather is good for Monday, because I really don't want to have to do this all over again. So some last minute things. I started to put together a ceremony flyer, if you will. It's not perfected yet. We do have quite a few speakers. I'm going to try to minimize the amount of time so that this doesn't turn into an hour speaking program. Made some cuts to that as well. Gilbane is going to provide us with refreshments for 300. As we had discussed, the school has the tables. We're going to go and get balloons, tablecloths, things like that ordered today. Do we think 48 balloons is enough?
Yeah.
I just want to get an idea.
I think that's more than 49.
Mr. Piazza, were you able to find out if the band in the chorus is going to be able to do a little something?
Yes, we're gonna have the band, a small group of kids on the second floor playing, and then we'll have the chorus inside as people are entering.
Okay.
And then they'll be
so-
done once the ceremony starts.
Okay, perfect, because so not part of the program itself then? Okay.
Right.
And Dr. Cronin, you had said that you would have some all calls made.
Yep, we're doing one today, and then we'll do another one on Friday.
Perfect. Okay. How about, did you hear anything about the slideshow, Phil, that Patty Kirby is supposed to be putting together?
Yeah, I know she's putting it together.
Did she take the photos from your office?
She
We told her
did. She
about
took the
those
ones that Lindsay had
binders.
provided of the project along the way.
Of aerial photos?
Yeah.
So they're gonna, her hope was to put those on the television in the main hallway there.
Yeah.
And is she gonna be able to also run it in the auditorium itself prior to the start of the show?
I think so, yeah. I would think we'd have the screen down and have it going on in the back, right? On the
Running in the
stage
back.
using the $15,000 camera.
Yeah, well, we've gotta use it, make sure this stuff works, right? And then I know that I haven't heard anything about whether student council has been immobilized to do the tours. Has there been any
Immobilized or
mention?
mobilized?
Mobilized.
Yeah, we have it set up so we'll have enough tour guides for, there'll be a student and a teacher with each group, taking
And
them around.
We talked about, we have to have the teachers near and we have to have people
Station.
stationed at each of the entrances,
Mhm.
so that if people come in from all different sides, because the doors cannot be propped open, so someone has to be there to
You're gonna need
let.
them at the gym, you're gonna need them at the teacher's entrance on the north side.
Eileen Ziegler said they had approximately 15 staff members.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would think you would be covered because
We'll be
they'll
fine.
be utilized as you're coming in, and then maybe those same ones are gonna
We'll
help
lead
with
the
the
tours later.
tours, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. I put it in everywhere. I'm gonna boost the posts if anybody can share to their own Facebook pages and things, the actual invitation. It's really hard to try and get a head count. The one that I put on our Facebook page has about 70-plus people that claim interest in it. I know that they've been doing it in the announcements at the middle school in the morning, and
I added it to the district webpage.
it's on the district webpage, it's on the
PTSA.
North Haven Middle School's webpage, the PTA Facebook page, the North Haven Middle School Renovation Project page, and several of our local papers. I had NHTV, I asked him if he could roll it in between the shows, if you will, the meetings that show, and they're supposed to be coming to tape the actual ceremony as well. Gary, you said that this week the company is coming to actually mount the plaque,
Yes.
right? That's supposed to be the 24th?
Yeah.
So if we could just get confirmation that that occurs.
The,
What else?
I'm gonna send an all-employee
Yeah.
blast out for that, as well as, I think, it just dawned on me that a lot of seniors are interested in this. I'll send something to Judy.
Oh, I did,
Senior
sorry, I
Center. Oh, you
forgot to
did?
mention
Okay.
that. I talked to Judy Amaro, she
Okay.
was gonna put it in their newsletter, she was gonna put, I sent her the copy of the invitation, she's gonna put it on their bulletin board there. Yeah, I'm sure there's things that I'm missing, but anywhere I posted in the library, I put it up in the library, I put it up at the rec center. So hopefully, the weather will cooperate and we'll get people to come out and see the school.
Sounds very transparent.
Can they have the field flip during this whole
I asked
process?
Phil,
Can
that
light
was
the fields?
Phil's, he said no problem with that, so that was on the list as well.
Nice.
And if you think of something else, like,
Freshly plowed.
Nobody will be on them.
Freshly
Nobody will
plowed.
be on them, but they'll be there.
if you all think of something, let me know, and if anybody can help that afternoon, we're gonna need help probably getting these balloons, perhaps setting up tables and things. The ceremony starts at 6:30, I'm sure we're gonna ask that everybody at least be there by 6:15 so we can start on time. We're just trying to get down the order of our speakers and setting up the stage. We've determined that's gonna be in the auditorium, just for acoustic purposes and so people don't have to stand, especially because we have quite a robust speaking program. So why not show off our auditorium, what it's meant for?
You should hear the speaking program that was in
Oh, at
The
the time
original-
capsule.
in
time
1960.
capsule. It
It was deadly.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm
We cannot
gonna
repeat with that.
No.
get a hook and just like poke
It should be,
people.
That's a good idea.
All right.
I think-
3 minutes.
And no,
We should have
no
a
recent
3-minute
communications on
limit.
our Gmail account. but
Yeah,
I'll
I
keep
looked
checking.
actually the other day too, because one of the newspapers put for additional information, go to our email address, but there didn't seem to be anything out there. Can anybody think of anything that I may have missed? I just think
I
of
think
these
you've got it all.
things. I think of these things at all random hours, as you can tell from the emails that I send, but
Michelle, can we keep, or at least ask each speaker for 3 minutes?
that was what I was proposing.
That's the intent, but
Yes.
I know,
doesn't mean
I
they're
know.
gonna do it.
Joe, are you still planning on bringing, you said you had some type of
Yeah, we have some leave
handouts?
behinds, we have about 100, so I think we'll have some of our crew that worked on this there and just sort of pass them out to people who are interested.
So you don't need like a table, it's just gonna be kind of like in the auditorium? Okay. All right, so I'll be sending an email to the speakers, asking, we're gonna start promptly asking them to limit their comments to
Yeah.
3 minutes, and
I can have the band move inside and start playing
playing them out?
after 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 minutes,
yeah.
start playing out.
Well, we said that like the
People
acceptance
start fleeing.
speeches, yeah. Okay,
Michelle,
if
can you
anybody,
help set it up? What time do you want someone there?
I don't even know, like, I took the day off
What's
from
that?
work, because I didn't know, like, am I gonna be scrubbing walls? I don't know. Oh, Phil.
Anytime after school.
Phil got magic erasers, and a good portion of the stuff on the wall, when you first walk in the main office area, he got it off the yellow wall. He was gonna see what he could do with the white wall.
Magic erasers are awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
They are.
So that made some improvement, and they are talking about having the cleaning, the janitorial staff coming in earlier to get the school sparkling, so that the gentlemen who are usually there in the evenings, cleaning the trash out of the rooms and things, won't be doing that during the
We really-
during the tours.
We have to remind Phil of that, because then they'll be there.
What do you mean?
We have to remind Phil to not have those guys there.
Okay, so you'll do that, right?
Yeah.
I think.
All right.
everything.
Public comment?
What's the date of that next
No
meeting?
public comment. Okay.
What would be that?
I'll call for a motion to adjourn,
Wait, what's the next?
Motion to adjourn.
February 5th.
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor? I got a motion for that.
Yeah, because I have to go.
All in favor?
I have to go.
Bye.
Hey, Dan, for next Wednesday's the last Wednesday of the month.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.